But this is my story, and I just want to be upfront. So that situation happens, and I just knew something was brewing with James from the jump.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jalen. Hello, if you're new here, please like and subscribe. Please subscribe because I'm trying to get to 10K so I can do a giveaway for you guys. So the faster I get there, the faster I can do it, and I'm really excited about it, so I'd really appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about something that I'm shocked no one else has talked about. This happened yesterday, like over 24 hours ago, and I've seen one drama channel talk about it and they only tweeted. They didn't even make a video. So I'm kind of surprised, but also not, because I feel like whenever people are talking about Jeffree Star, it's really like often that people don't want to talk about the situation, which is fine. Like, everyone has a right to talk about whatever they want to talk about, but I wanted to talk about this because I feel like with this situation, so Cameron Lester, who is a makeup artist, he has a YouTube channel, he has a good Instagram account, he's talented. He came out with a video saying that he's no longer supporting Jeffree Star Cosmetics, or Shane Dawson. So he put out this video, and it's like 27 minutes long. It doesn't include any receipts or hard facts. It includes his experiences, his opinions, and how he feels. So I feel like that's important to say, because how you interpret something isn't necessarily how things are. But I feel like the whole entire thing is the perfect example of, you don't know who people are. You just don't. Like, I've been watching Pretty Little Liars again. So like Hannah, one of the characters, or anybody, Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy, she isn't that person in real life. And as far as YouTube goes, it's kind of different, like a gray area, because these people are sharing their life and like their stories. But just because you're seeing, you know, a 10-minute video here and there, you don't know who they are, and you don't know how they behave in real life and what they really think. You don't know what they say to pander to people. Like, you don't know who they are. And so we stand these people, and we're fans of these people. We support these people. We get them our money, and we really don't know them. So I feel like I used to get really surprised when like people would come out with stories and like say bad things about people I liked, because I was like, well, how could that person be a bad person? Like, I just watched their video and they're so nice. And you really don't know. So I do think some of the things that he is saying is true, which we'll get into. I'm going to include clips of parts of it, like the important parts, because it was a long video. And like I said, the video is kind of like just longer than it needed to be. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing he starts to do is talk about an experience that he had with Jeffree Star. I'm going to just go ahead and include the clip. It's kind of long. I think it's like 2 minutes long here, just so you can listen to his words. He seems scared to talk about this. Like, he actually seems kind of terrified in the video. I believe what he's saying is true, but like I said, interpretations are important too. So I'm not saying what he's saying was wrong. It could be very well what he's interpreted, and how uncomfortable it made him is what matters. However you feel is valid. Even if it's not necessarily what you were supposed to feel, you're still valid to that. So this is what he had to say.
That I benefited from Jeffree Star and Jeffree Star Cosmetics. But there were so many cons that it outweighed the pros. I remember being in Houston. So this is the first instance that something happened. I remember being in Houston, and I was there with Rich Lux to collab. And, you know, Jeffree was there. He was doing work and business and all that kind of stuff. And we were sitting in a Louis Vuitton store with several people in the store, and I was excited. I was having fun. You know, I was getting to kind of see the behind the scenes of Jeffree's life, and, you know, some stuff that I wanted to do once I got bigger and established into the beauty community. And I remember there was this instance where he's like, asked me if I like James or not. And I was just so shocked. He was like, do you like James? Like, do you like him? And I just was so shocked and uncomfortable, because he's like such a big powerhouse, and he asked me this, and I was like, I didn't even know what to say to that. I was just uncomfortable. There's people around me, and he just like was so blunt and out of nowhere asked me, do you like James? And if you guys know me, James helped me with my career when I first got into the beauty space and tell my HIV story. Like, he's always been very supportive of me. And I was like, I don't have a problem with him. Do I agree with everything he does? No. But I don't have a personal problem with him, and he's done so much for me, so why would I go against him? And he was like, well, you don't fucking owe him forever. And I just was like taken back when he said that, because I was like, it all happened so fast. He was like, you don't fucking owe him forever. And I just remembered that. And I was like, what? OMG. And we're in the Louis Vuitton store. So I'm just like, dang, I don't know what to even think of that. I didn't even know what to do. So I was just kind of like, trying to enjoy the moment and be present. And then later that night, I got into the car with Rich Lux, and he told me himself that Jeffrey was asking, he thinks that Rich Lux told me that Jeffrey thought I was talking to James at the Louis Vuitton store. And from that, when I was in that car, I knew that he automatically just didn't trust me off the jump. And this is early on in our relationship. This is in the beginning. And I was kind of hurt, because I was like, I would never do that. First, I was uncomfortable. I didn't know how to handle the situation. I didn't know what to say about the situation. I was just really uncomfortable. So my first thought was not to DM James. I'm not malicious, and I try not to do stuff like that. I just didn't know what to do. I honestly just wanted to act like it never happened, but it did happen. And that was the first instance.
Now this next part is kind of like what gets me, okay? Well, it's gonna get even worse once we get past this part, so just stay tuned. So in the next part of him describing an experience that he had was the next day. They were in Houston. It was him and Jeffree Star, and I believe Rich Lux was there, maybe not in the room, but he was on that trip with them. Shane Dawson called to talk to Jeffree, and Jeffree was talking to Shane, and Shane was like going off about James Charles, like going ham on him, okay? And Cam was there, and he was listening and heard it, and said that it was the first time like he saw Shane Dawson in that way.
There was also another situation in Houston when the next day, when we were in the hotel, and I was in his hotel, and we were just chilling. We were talking to Rich Lux again and a few other people, and I was talking to Jeffree, and I remember Shane Dawson called, and he was going off about James Charles and something, and telling, like, just like cursing James out. And I was just like kind of taken back, because I've never seen Shane Dawson like that. And he was just going in on James. And I was like, oh, is there like, there's something like brewing. There's something going on with James and Shane and Jeffree. So I was just uncomfortable, and I just was like, I'm going to stay over here. I don't even know what to do. I was really small at this point, and I'm still pretty small. And I was just like, I'm not saying anything. I was terrified. I was just like, okay, like, I'm just gonna go back home and act like nothing happened. And, and I kept doing that. But I knew from there, Shane wasn't the person that he was perceived online. But I didn't really have any effect. Like, I don't record things. I don't have hard facts. Like, this is not about receipts. This is about what my personal experience. This is all from my mouth. There is 3 sides of every story. So,
like, he was just behaving like completely different than the person that we see on TV. Now, I could make a whole video about my issues with Shane Dawson, because I love Shane Dawson, but I also feel like he doesn't consider things the way that he should have. When he did that video with Eugenia and Cooney, it completely changed the way that I see him, because I feel like he used her. She wasn't ready. If he said that he has suffered from his own eating disorders, and if I'm not doubting that he has had an eating disorder or has one, but when you have one, like, you should realize like where your place is. To bring Katie and Morton or whatever into the situation, she was like giving awful advice and like agreeing with Eugenia about things that she shouldn't have, and it was just like, it wasn't good. And I looked past all that because I was so happy about like Eugenia trying to get help and trying to get better, but he should never have done that video. He shouldn't have done it at all. So it's kind of disappointing. But anyway, that's like a completely different situation. But the point is I don't doubt that Shane called and was like saying awful things about James Charles. Now get this. 3 months later after this, after he felt like something was brewing against James Charles had a scandal. Now, he kind of alluded to the fact that it was planned and that he could have done something kind of to prepare James Charles. I'm sure he wouldn't have been able to stop it, but he said he feels guilty that he never, told James.
But this is my story, and I just want to be upfront. So that situation happens, and I just knew something was brewing with James from the jump. I get back home to LA, and I'm just like talking to my friends and family, like what happened, and how I think something is going on with James Charles, and like, you know, it's really just really I was just uneasy about it. 3 months later, James had his scandal. And I always remember holding that and being like, OMG, maybe I could have came to James and maybe gave him like a warning or told him like something happened or something was about to happen, and I felt it. And I always felt like a little guilty for not ever saying anything or confessing to James because he helped me in the beginning, and I felt like I wasn't a true friend, and I really am apologetic towards James for not speaking up and not having the courage at the time to speak up for him, because I knew 3 months before he had that scandal, something bad was going to happen. And I stayed silent because I wanted to protect myself. I wanted to protect my platform. Everyone told me not to say anything. Everyone's like, it'll be a crazy move. You're gonna destroy your career. Every brand that he works with, you're not gonna work with, and you're not gonna have money like this and that. And I was scared. Like, I was just like, oh gee, I'm not gonna have a platform. I'm not like I just didn't know what to do.
So I don't know what part Tati would have in that. I don't know if maybe Jeffree and Shane were feeding her things and making up things and trying to make things like look worse, and then kind of got Tati to feel a certain way. So when she saw certain behaviors in James, it kind of triggered her to be like, oh my God, like these people were right. Like, this is what Jeffree and Shane have been saying to me, allegedly. And so then she made her video, and then it kind of just, you know, went from there. So maybe Shane and Jeffree were like, okay, let's start doing this now. Let's start this manipulation to Tati. Or maybe Tati just randomly decided that she was going to do that, and then they, like, you know, went with it. Who knows? I don't know. I could speculate so much, but that's all that he knew, and that's all we know. So who knows? Maybe it was planned, maybe it wasn't. I have no idea. And, you know, people in the comments were saying, like, you can't say that that is, like, that makes it where Shane isn't actually the person that you see in videos, because you can't say that one phone call where someone's angry. We don't know why he was angry. We don't know if James actually did something bad and made Shane upset. Like, we don't know what happened. You can't just base his whole personality, who he is, off one phone call. But I also know, if you take into account the way that, you know, Jeffree talks about James, and then he's close friends with Shane, and now he's going off about James, it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like they are ganging up on him, which isn't a good personality trait. But again, like, we don't know. We can only speculate and say what we're going to say. But here's the thing, is that with all of this, with this video coming out, everyone's ignoring it. So maybe nothing will happen from it. But I think that eventually, you know, Shane or Jeffree or Tati will speak out and say something and address it, whether they tear him down or not. I have no idea. You know, Jeffree Star Cosmetics could do much better as far as diversity goes. They really could. You know, he feels like he was used like a token black boy. I hope that's not offensive to say. That's what he said. So I'm really not, and I heard the other day that you shouldn't use the term African American. So I'm not trying to offend anybody when I say that. That's what he said. And he just felt kind of like used because he was black, and so, you know, he could post him sometimes and try to like build him up kind of, but also just he said in the video, like, he felt like Jeffree would give him like enough to keep him quiet and around, but not enough that he like kind of deserved. So anyway, that's basically the video that he posted. If you want to watch the whole thing, it's on Instagram, and I would say someone posted it to YouTube, but they hadn't. Again, I'm very confused why this isn't being talked about. Maybe it's because Cameron's making all this up completely and no one's giving it any like thought. I don't know. Like I said in the beginning, I feel like this is either Jeffree and Shane aren't good people, which I like both of them. Maybe they're both bad people though, and Cameron's idea of who they are as people is accurate, or maybe it's just, you know, one of those things where someone says something to you as a joke or whatever, and then, like, not this, but like, you know, the idea of somebody saying something kind of as a joke and it hurts your feelings. If their intention was never to hurt your feelings, but your feelings are still hurt, then your feelings are still hurt regardless. Like, that's how you feel. So who knows? I have no idea. I hope more people will, like, you know, try to talk about it and give their opinions, because as far as right now, no one besides Here for the Tea has. It's very odd to me. It's very weird. You know, I like all these drama channels, and I've talked to them, and you know, they've watched a few of my videos. Like, I feel like, I don't feel like part of that community or that friend group or anything, but I feel like I like them and I respect them all. So if people don't post about this or like share anything, like even just a tweet, I'm gonna be kind of disappointed. Because I feel like if you're gonna talk about one thing, you should talk about everything. But again, who knows? There's also some drama channels I follow I know don't like Jeffree Star and they haven't said anything. So it could just be people don't know. Who knows? I love everybody anyway. I don't care. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Again, please subscribe if you can so I can do a giveaway for you guys. I'm really looking forward to it, and I really appreciate the support, especially on like my latest, like recently. I gained like a pretty good amount of subscribers in a few days or a few weeks time, and my views have been pretty good, which is really exciting for me. So I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!